What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. How's it going? Hope you are doing really well. This is a random stream, and I'm not sure whether people in my audience really care about this. Maybe it's bigger than normal. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's far less. I have no idea, but I thought it'd be fun. I've been having a little bit of fun with these like tier rankings and stuff. Uh, it's been kind of fun. Some people have been like, oh, don't tier rank teachers, which, I get it. It kind of seems a little like, I don't know, a little too YouTubey, but honestly, it's been really fun for me and for some of you guys, and also helpful to kind of point people to a resource and be like, hey, you want to know what I think about this teacher? You could just watch that video, see what I think about him. So we're not really doing that tonight with music because, why do you care? Like, this is just kind of nostalgia road for me and just a good time. I don't know. I've been watching this one YouTuber who talks a lot about like punk rock music from like the early 2000s and stuff. A lot of stuff that I was really into. I was like, that seems like fun. And then the other day, someone put on Twitter like 4 albums that you consider like, every song is just a banger. I was like, you know what? I could do this. This could be a lot of fun, at least for me. All right. I don't know. Let me know. Like, I know Heidi's already here and saying, I know nothing about these bands, but I'm a loyal fan now. So here I am doing dishes and tuning in. I appreciate it. Yeah, some of you guys might be like, I have no idea. I'm getting to that place in life where it's just, you never know. If people are going to resonate with what you were into, because I don't know, I'm getting a little bit older, so some of the younger people, they're like, you're 8 years older than me, so I don't know anything about their culture and they know nothing about mine. It's one of those weird things as you get a little bit older, like you're not old yet. And some of you guys are always like, Dean, stop saying you're old, but I feel old. And then like, I know that I'm not like crazy old yet. Someday I will be, probably in like 3 years. I'll be crazy and old. Right now, it's just one of those things. But I'm not that old, but I'm also not that young anymore. So this is kind of like that 2000s Christian rock stuff. And I'm going to be a little like some of you guys, some people get like real sticklers about like definitions of things, even about fun things. It's like, you guys need to like cool off a little bit. But also, when I talk about like Christian bands, I don't really want to go into how did they turn out. I don't want to have those kinds of conversations because honestly, I don't know the theology attached to each one of these bands. I don't know if everyone in the band was always Christian, if they, left the faith years later. Some of them I do know stuff like that, but most of them I don't know that stuff. So I'm not saying like each one of these guys should be someone you Google and look up and be like, oh, this guy said this about stuff. Dean must agree with that about, whatever. Don't do that. We're just having fun looking at that 2000s, like that decade of just Christian rock. And again, rock is even like, some of these are not necessarily rock, but I'm going to have fun with it. And I think some of you guys will too. Jeremy's here and says that, yes, this will be so fun. Jeremy's a little bit older than me. So it'll be kind of interesting to see where Jeremy's at with some of these bands and which ones he remembers better than some of the ones that I do and vice versa. Mule Rider is here and says, probably won't make it through the whole live, but curious if Switchfoot or Creed make the list. I didn't put Creed on here. Creed's not on the list. Spoiler. I don't know. Were they Christian? I don't know. Like I'm doing like people that I know were Christian, or at least like that was like propagated everywhere. And I know that there was like one member of the band, I think from Creed, that they were saying was a Christian, but this is like people who were on like Tooth and Nail and like BEC and Sparrow and stuff like that. Some of those record labels. Trey is here. What's up, man? Switchfoot and Relient K. Oh man, who's going to be at the tippy top? We'll see. We'll have some fun. You guys aren't going to like some of my opinions. I already know that. Jordan's here and says, excited to see where 5 Iron Frenzy lands. Hey. FYI, the Christian version of Switchfoot is Switchfoot. Nice. I'm starting my own podcast about this old music, late 90s and early 2000s, Christian, indie, punk, hardcore, etc. Sundown Motel podcast coming soon. Usually when people come on here and they're just like, hey, check out my stuff, I usually get like, come on, why are you doing that, man? But that sounds awesome. Like, let's promote this. Let's make this bigger. Let's do that because I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen, Cal. That sounds awesome. You probably know a lot more about the stuff than I do. It's just, this is the stuff that I liked. So I'll talk about what I like. I'm not an expert on stuff. Doc is here. Says old Newsboys versus current Newsboys. Yeah, I have some thoughts on that. We'll get into it. All right. Mule Rider, curious if you two will also make the list. No, well, these weren't Stavesiker. I still don't know. They're not even on here. Spoilers. You're like, whatever. I didn't listen to them until like you told me like 2 months ago. So I'm not putting them on. Just hoping to see Dean sing out some of his favorite songs. It might happen. It might not. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I got kids being crazy already. So we'll see how tonight goes. Every time someone talks about Creed, all I hear is, can you take me higher? Oh, you almost got me even with that. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do a lot of singing on this one. We'll see. I'm old. I don't know how old you are. You might be old. I don't know. All right, let's get into it. Let's start off. All right, let's start off with some fun ones. All right, we're just gonna be looking at some stuff, and that is, we're starting off with Pillar. Or do you guys remember Pillar? They were like the P.O.D. like ripoff band. They had a couple of songs that I actually really liked. Like they had Frontline here, which was like, if you played basketball, all right, I'm going to make this reference probably a lot as we go through this stuff, but there were certain songs that were just like pump up songs for me. And Frontline was one of them. Hypnotized. I think a lot of like angsty Christian teenagers, like we were like, are we? Like we were being really deep. And like they're just putting out songs about like, it's wartime. And we're just like, have I been hypnotized? I don't know. Also, that word, spoilers, not spoilers, just weird random rabbit trail. I always think of Jack Black when I hear this song because of Hypnotized. And ever since I heard that, it's like something in my head that just like consciously I have to like flip a switch and be like, is it hypnotized or is it hypnotized? I know it's hypnotized, but there's something there that I just like have in the back of my mind that I have to make sure. Which one is it? Am I saying the right one? So for me, Pillar, I don't know about you guys. I thought it was a ripoff band at the time, and even though I had fun with some of their songs, I'm going to put them probably at a D. They weren't very good. They had that one album, and everyone bought that album, and then we just didn't. Remember, did you guys have Spirit stores? Not like Spirit Halloween, but like a Spirit Christian bookstore. What was it? Like? I think that's actually like the full name was Spirit Christian Bookstore. We had a ton of those on the West Coast, and that's where I went for all my music. Cal says Pillar was decent to work with. I used to book shows and they played at our venue. It was Pillar, Disciples Spoken, and Kids in the Way. All right, some of these guys are going to be back on the list. That's so cool, Cal. You have like actual insights in this stuff. Keep it coming, man. That's rad. I just listened to it. Under Oath. All right. Under Oath is a weird band for me because like I think Reinventing Your Exit was like 2005. Right? It was on X 2005. I know that because I got it for like my 16th birthday. And so like it was on there and I loved, or is it Slowly Bleeding? What's the name of this album? I don't even know. But Under Oath, like they had a certain sound that I really liked when it was more of like that punky kind of emo stuff and then random screams. And then they went like full hardcore for a little bit. And totally lost me. I'm not a hardcore metal guy, and so when they did like the full screamo stuff, I didn't like it. I liked it when it was like that real angsty feel of like here's like the heartbeat of this song, and you get the scream, and then you go back into like the more punky stuff. Aaron Gillespie was like their guy, and he did another band, the Almost, and it was more of like that kind of vibe that I liked. I don't have the Almost in here, but Under Oath was really like, that album was a really big deal for me. So I really like that one. So I would probably actually leave it at a B. I'm going to leave it right there. Like, not too high. I know some people, they just love Under Oath. Under Oath was one of those bands that toward the end of like this like boom of 2000s Christian punk music, like where Relient K was on Warped Tour and all of that, like they got in there right at the end there. And then, you know, they kind of took off. They were huge for a little while. I don't think, are they still around? I don't even know. But yeah, so I'm going to keep them at a B. Now this one is hard because Audio Adrenaline, a lot of people go like, this is Underdog, which is where some of the inspiration for Underdog Theology comes from. I love this album. Mighty Good Leader is one of my favorite songs of all time. Underdog, obviously. So this song, like, I don't like a lot of Audio Adrenaline, and most of their stuff is more of like the stuff you would listen to on like contemporary Christian radio. Like, not my jam at all, but this one album is the one that I go like, okay, so that's why I have them in here, because I just really dig this one album. But the rest of their stuff is pretty much like Oceans and stuff like that, you know. And it's like, I don't really like that stuff. My mom loved their stuff, and that's how, you know, like things were a little like weird for them as a band of where they were trying to go. There's a few bands like that where they didn't know exactly what their sound was going to be, and so they just tried a bunch of stuff. And Audio Adrenaline was definitely one of those. So I'm going to put them at C, just so we can start to get like a little bit of like, all right, who fits into these categories a little bit. TFK, man. 1000-Foot Krutch. Trevor McNevin. We're talking about the Toronto Connection. I love this band. All right, I love their early stuff. That's why I put this album on the cover for it, because this first album was fire. It was so good. Like, it had like Puppet and like just some amazing, like when they were doing like kind of like for a minute it was sounding like Eminem, and then it went more into like that pop punk kind of vibe. Oh, this album's so good. If you haven't listened to this first album from 1000-Foot Krutch, it is so different than what they eventually turned into. But this album is great. Their other stuff like Phenomenon with Rock Fist and, you know, some of those other ones, like even the Art of Slowly Bleeding. Let's look them up a little bit. We're gonna be doing this sometimes. Which one are we talking about? We're talking about 1000-Foot Krutch, obviously. Yeah. We'll go over here. Okay. So like this is what people know them for now. Like they're kind of done, but it was like these albums that got really popular toward the end of their stuff. That stuff sucked. I hated that stuff. I fell off. Let's just go by albums. How do we do this? I don't use Spotify. It's just one that I knew a lot of you guys use, so I'd use it. Where's the other albums? I don't know how any of this stuff works. But this one, Phenomenon, everybody knows. Like, some of these ones were huge hits. I liked, where is it? Yeah, Break the Silence, I thought was a pretty good song. But this was what I thought of for 1000-Foot Krutch, that and that first album. But then it became like this stuff, and I just stopped listening to them. I was like, not gonna deal with it. So for me, like the strength of their early stuff puts them at a C, but like their other albums just tanked. But that's not the only Trevor McNevin band that's going to be on this list. So Thank the Lord for that. Let's see. Sarah's here and says, "Good evening, Dean. First Christian concert I got invited to before I was saved was Audio Adrenaline. I got to meet them that night." That's so cool. Like, I haven't been to as many concerts as I would like to have been. I was that guy that, like, I mean, like, I was kind of like into obviously all like this like pop punk Christian stuff, and then Blink 182 and stuff like that. But like, I was the guy who spent every Friday night at at a coffee shop in Snohomish, listening to folk music because it was open mic night. Me and my friends, like, we were all like, what you think about Gilmore Girls? That's pretty much how I grew up. Like, going into, like, if you know, like, Snohomish, if you've ever been to Washington State and gone down into Snohomish, there's a lot of, like, antique stores. It's very Stars Hollow. So like, I was always doing that. So I haven't been to as many bands as people would probably think I have. But yeah, whenever you can meet the band, super rad. Doesn't really matter what band they are, unless you're talking about like some of these lame ones. Emery. Emery is a great band. They had so much cool stuff going on. This album, oh my goodness, like Walls and what is it, Ponytail Parade. Oh my goodness, those songs were so incredible, and I like there are some music videos that are just like sketched into my brain, and Walls is one of those. Like, it was so good. And then also, like, because I used to get like a lot of like the Tooth and Nail stuff, which I have their 40 years thing or whatever, like their anniversary. Not 40. Was it 40? I don't know. However many years, 25 years? It's probably 25. But I have their No New Kind of Story, which is actually Jesse Bryan, who runs Belief Agency in Washington. They do a lot of marketing and stuff. He was the guy at Mark Driscoll's church at Mars Hill who did all the marketing. The reason why Mark Driscoll is famous is pretty much because of him and his team and how awesome they were at marketing. Like, he was on the Rise and Fall of Mars Hill, and he talked a lot about regrets. But they did this documentary for Tooth and Nail, and they did this awesome book that went with it, and it's just filled with like all this art from like that time period and like the story of Tooth and Nail. So I love Tooth and Nail, obviously, as a guy from Seattle. Loved them and everything they were about. So I would always get the songs from the Penalty Box, which is why the title of that segment is called The Penalty Box. It's after them, not because I'm a huge hockey fan, but after that. And so the songs from Penalty Box were like these like compilations of all these different bands that were up and coming, or some of your favorites from Tooth and Nail. And they were free when you bought certain albums. So I remember getting one of them had the DVDs for, I think it was like Songs from the Penalty Box was like the albums that they'd put out. And then I think it was like The Nail was like their music videos. And I remember getting their music video of Emery's Walls, and it was just awesome. So good, so interesting. A lot of these bands were pretty creative for, today it feels like so much Christian music is just like paint by numbers. And at this time, it really felt like people were really trying to be creative. And speaking of creative, so I'm going to put Emery at B. Like Studying Politics was a good one. They've had some decent songs, some newer ones. I know like everyone is kind of on the fence about them because of like that podcast Bad Christian that they started and all of that stuff. But as a band, I thought they continued to be pretty decent. So I'd put them up at B. And let's go with Five Iron Frenzy. Five Iron Frenzy. This is a hard one because they actually do have some stinkers. All right. Like, let's be honest. Five Iron Frenzy is a band that you either love or you hate, because they had quirky songs. Like they had like this album, like These Are Not My Pants. Like they had like 8 different versions of that. They have like Walking with Dinosaurs, When I Go Out, like, and if you love those, you love those, and I love those. But I know a lot of people who hated Five Iron Frenzy. Reese Roper, though, what an interesting voice, like both as a person, but also just his voice. He sounded like the lead singer of Goldfinger. Like he was awesome. And honestly, some of my favorite songs to sing along with are Five Iron Frenzy songs. Like I said, not every album is like this insane hit. And they had an interesting way of trying to get their music out. They were very much like trying to be organic and like trying to really focus on like the Denver area music scene and stuff. So I think they could have actually been a lot bigger than they ended up. But yeah, I just really love some of their stuff. Like the Life and Death of Brad, like some awesome ska stuff. So for me, I'm gonna put Five Iron as an A, even though they don't have like some of like the like every album is some insane hit. They have some like incredible songs, and especially when you start talking about like Christianity, guys, go listen to Dandelions from Five Iron Frenzy. And anyone who has been in like the deconstruction world, go listen to Dandelions, and I think you'll really resonate with that. There's some deep Christian stuff in it too. So it's not just about the music tonight, but mostly it's about the music. But they stand above some of these other bands, at least for me. Um, don't worry about it, man. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those videos where all like the people who really love this channel, like they come in and kind of check in, and then they're like, yeah, I don't care about any of these bands, and they head out. So it's just going to be, I have a feeling it's going to be a smaller crew tonight. So you overload it, go for it. Let's see. Heidi, my husband's mom was friends with Ron Hamilton. They went to church together. What is that from? Oh, Gilmore Girls. Okay. Gilmore Girls, finally a name I recognize. This is bad. You haven't mentioned a name I know yet. My music experience was too pure in the 2000s. Old hymns, Ron Hamilton, Frank Garlock, and classical. Oh my goodness, Ron Hamilton. Patch the Pirate, huh? I did not know who that guy was. Like, we had to sing a couple Patch the Pirate songs in school, like when I was in like junior high, and they forced us to do choir. And then when you got into high school, you could opt out. And I was like, yeah, I'm out. But they did some of that stuff because, again, I went to a very conservative Christian school. And we got a grad from Bob Jones who came in and, was related to somebody, and they started doing music stuff. And so that's the first time I remember hearing Ron Hamilton's name. And then I went to Bible college, and we got, the Majesty's stuff and the hymn books and all of that. And everyone was always talking about Ron Hamilton, and all the specials were from Ron Hamilton. And I was like, what is this? Honestly, if I could put Ron Hamilton would be an F on here. Like, I really don't like his music. I know some people love it. Some people are nostalgic for it, but I just thought, like, as far as like worship music, it was always so weird and performative. Like, I know they always talk about like these kinds of people as like, oh, they're the performers. This isn't Christian music. But I mean, you look at like, he's got a song that literally sounds like Whitney Houston, like something about like On the Wings of Eagles, which I know is from Isaiah. But it's just like the way that it's done in the song. It just, you are the wind beneath my wings kind of deal. It's not a fan, but we had to deal with it. And yeah, Bible college kind of scarred me with Ron Hamilton. Hey, what's up, Roland? Love me some tier list. 90s Newsboys was my jam. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I have Newsboys in here, actually. Let's talk about it, though. Newsboys is a weird band because like they sounded a certain way, and then they completely changed. They got the like one of the best voices in all of Christian music, Michael Tate, and then they just became like this bland Christian band, and it probably did so much better for them financially, but like they just like lost all sense of what their distinctive sound was. So for me, like that's why they're not on this list. Also, they weren't. I don't know. They weren't that rocky. Like even Audio Adrenaline is kind of like on the verge of even being considered for that. Let's talk about a band that was though. Sanctus Real. Like a very similar. Like you'll see a common thread. Like there are some of these bands that started off as like real like pop punky stuff, and maybe it was just because it was popular at the time, because all the bands that were like really secular were really like, I mean, you got Avril Lavigne at the time, you've got Simple Plan, Good Charlotte, some Newfound Glory, stuff like that, which I really dug, and most teenagers dug, so they were really focusing on that kind of vibe. And then some of them just totally switched to go like full on like worship stuff. Cutlass did that. Sanctus Real definitely did that. But their first album, this album, Fight the Tide, is awesome. Literally every song is insanely good. Mr. Deeds, like, oh man, I remember my sister had a boyfriend and he was just a weird dude. And we would play pranks on him. Me and my buddy, we would buy things and like leave it at his doorstep because he was a little bit older and she was like a senior in high school. And I'm going to finish that story in just a minute because I got to go deal with something. We're going on a break right off the bat. So sorry, guys, but this is how life is sometimes. some of you guys wonder why I don't make more content, like why I don't do more streams on this channel. One, I don't make more content on this channel because mostly you guys like me streaming. You guys like to be able to come in, have some conversations in the chat, have a good time, and I love that. But I don't stream more because I have kids. And sometimes, well, they just can't handle being in bed. But it's okay because we also did the insulin. So we took care of business. And we also gave some insulin. So hopefully we don't have to stop again in like 15 minutes. We'll see how it goes. Or what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So my sister was dating this guy. And this is about, what was it? I don't even know. Oh, yeah, Mr. Deeds. That's what I was thinking. Whenever I think of that song from Sanctus Real, I think about this boyfriend that my sister had and how we'd leave him little presents. Like, we would buy him random stuff and, like, buy him cat food. He didn't have a cat. Like, and leave it on his doorstep. And we never said it was us, but he would be like, man, you know, these neighbors, these people, maybe he thought it was us. Maybe he was just being nice, but he never said it directly. But like one time we brought him a Twinkie, and it wasn't his birthday or anything, but we put a Twinkie on a plate with some candles in it and lit it. And, you know, we'd run away, ring his doorbell, run away. That relationship didn't work. I wonder why. We scared that guy. Like, he was so nice, and he like fit the description of Mr. Deeds in my mind. He was like such a kind guy, nice guy, a little prideful, but you know, and like, so we thought we'd bring him down a couple pegs, me and my buddy. I don't think it worked. We just scared him off. And then he went to the more conservative Baptist church in our town, and like the real fundy church. And I think he got married to someone there. Funny how that works. All right. This is the one that you guys want. You guys want to know. You've been waiting this whole stream so far. You waited through the insulin break. You want to know where Switchfoot lands. I don't. All right. I'm going to put him right. No, I'm just kidding. I love Switchfoot. Switchfoot is awesome. Now, I put the Legend of Chin. I'm going to debate about S and A for them. Like, are they S tier? That's like the highest height that I can give. Are they going to be up there? I don't know. But The Legend of Chin is one of those albums that, like Sanctus Real, like for them, it's just the one album though. Like, that's the problem. Like, the rest of their albums kind of suck, and that's why I'm going to leave them in the D tier. But that one album is fantastic, and Legend of Chin is one of those albums for me, where every song, it like, you know, when you listen to music and it makes you feel like how you felt at that time, or it like brings you back to that place that you were listening to it. Like, that's what Legend of Chin is for me. Just like, I think I got, what was it? Legend of Chin, New Way to Be Human, and Learning to Breathe, or what is it? Life is Simple. What is that third album name? I don't know if I could even figure out how to use. I do Apple Music for everything. I should probably just do that, but it was being weird earlier. What is that? Yeah, Learning to Breathe. I got those 3 albums in one compilation from Borders, and like, I just like wore out those CDs. I love those like so much, because this was right around 2003 when everyone found out how awesome this band was. We heard a couple of those songs in like A Walk to Remember. Like, there's a lot of Switchfoot in that. But like this song, and oh man, like Meant to Live was like probably like the rock ballad of Christian teens at the time. Like, it was that one song that everybody loved, regardless if you were like more into like Tooth and Nail stuff, or, you know, just listen to, I don't know, Toby Mac on the radio. Like, it was that song. So like, when that album came out, it kind of like brought them to the forefront. And those 3 first albums for Switchfoot are just insanely good. And then they had that, like, what is it called? Like Vices? Why can't I go this way? Why doesn't it go further back? Guys, tell me how to use. If I do this, it just brings up that. I don't want that. Why? I'll never figure this out. But it was like Vices or something like that. I got their album from Target. I remember that. And I was so disappointed. Like Dirty Second Hands was a song on that album. And that one was pretty good. But the rest of the album was pretty awful. But they've recently had some good stuff. John Foreman, just on his own, is awesome. He's got some real awesome stuff with like, he did a Song of the Psalms. Like if we look up John Foreman, I think we can find that one. Yeah, House of God Forever. Like this is amazing. If you're one of those people that you're like, I don't really care about these bands, or like I don't listen to a lot of like Christian rock stuff. This is really soft. It's more folky, like probably just like singer-songwriter kind of deal. And it is pretty stinking great. So I would say, yeah, like John Foreman, awesome voice, very different, very nasally, but that means that a lot of us guys can stick with him and stay on tune. So I appreciate it. So I really love Switchfoot. So for me, yeah, I'm going to put him in S tier. There's a part of me that doesn't want to do that. I want it to be like more exclusive, but I can't help it. They're great. I love them. So yeah, I'm going to keep them there. I don't listen to some of their newer stuff all that much, although what was it called? Yeah, this one has a jam on it. Joy Invincible. Like it's very different from what you would typically think of for Switchfoot. It sounds more like modern Christian stuff, but there's something about that song that's just like, it's just a really upbeat song. And that's the kind of feeling that I get with Switchfoot. Everything is just kind of happy, even when they're being like kind of slow and melodramatic. Like it's just like, I don't know. Something about his voice is very, I don't know. Can a voice be whimsical? Because I kind of feel like it is. I don't know. I'm just waxing poetic now about Switchfoot. But that's where I would put it. Let's see. Break convo. What hymnal did you grow up on? Do people even know? Like, I don't think like most people probably even know. Well, Cal does. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button. Like night or what? Hit the like night. Okay, you're heading out already. Have you mentioned 1000 Foot Krutch? Yep, they are right here, my friend. Although you cannot see my mouse. Oh well, they're in C tier. But again, it's only because they kind of took a dive. Yo, man, I was PAX 217. Yo, my man. Was PAX 217 on your radar? Album was called Engage. You know what? No. I saw them at the Christian bookstore, and there was something about it. Like, although, maybe I'm getting it confused. There was like, what was it? Like Building 429 or something like that. There were a couple of these bands that had like names and then like a couple letters in it, and just they all kind of blended together for me. But PAX 217 wasn't on my radar. You know what was? House of Heroes. Oh man, this band I think could have been so much more popular had they just like gone away from the Christian stuff. I know that sounds awful. Okay, I like their Christian stuff, but like they had a sound that was in some ways similar to Killers, like the Killers. They could have been pretty mainstream, but they went with the Christian angle. And I really liked their first album. Like, I remember, you guys ever do this with some of your stuff? Because I grew up very conservative, and I kind of had to fight for each one of my albums, like to buy them, for them to like stay in my room and not get thrown in the trash. Like I had to fight and tell my parents why it was okay for me to be listening to this stuff, because it sounded the way it sounded. Like I used to have to play my music like super quiet in my room, especially if I was listening to MxPx. Like I had to play it real quiet But House of Heroes was one of those albums that I'd like tried to convince my parents, like, this is like all my music is good because listen, like the what is that song called? It's like Rise Up, O Sons of God, Wake the Dead, maybe. Let me look at this up. Oh, and again, like, what is up with this? I don't know. This is such a weird way of having a setup. I'm going to do this. Let me see. I'll put this on, bring this up, because I don't want you guys seeing all my playlists. But let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Serial Sleepers. Like this was the one. Like, this album is awesome. But this one song, Serial Sleepers, like Wake the Dead, Serial Sleepers sleep with words unsaid, and it's like talking about like these young men need to like stand up for God. And I remember like having my dad like sit down and like listen to this song. I'm like, Dad, don't you see? don't you see what this is? This is so Christian, Dad. Listen to it. He said God. Like, just trying to convince him that it was okay for me to have this album. I don't know if it worked or not. I don't think he got it. I probably didn't articulate myself very well. So like also, if you're looking for like a really good Christmas album, House of Heroes is one of my favorites. Their version of O Come O Come Emmanuel is insanely good. Like, just awesome. Yeah, so I would I'm gonna put them at B tier for me. Like, they're definitely you know what? I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna add a row below, and we're gonna do that. We need to delete this row, and this one is now E tier. We do have an E tier now. And we're going to put these guys in E tier. We're going to put these guys in, I'm going to keep them in C. And I'm going to put them in C. They're in C tier now. That's how it's going to work. Although this is bugging me. I want different colors. So I'm going to go there. Boom. Now we know. We got it all handled. Let's see. Never heard of them, but I like the Killers. We'll have to check it out. I'm mostly talking about that first album. Bullets for Bullet. What is it? Buckets for Bullet Wounds. Like, it's really good. House of Heroes was one of the tightest live bands I've ever seen play live. Yeah, I never got to, but that's, I would believe it. Like, they really seemed competent. Again, I think they really could have been somebody. Click on albums on Spotify. It's on popular releases. I don't know. I gave up, man. Cal, House of Heroes was previously a 3-piece punk band called No Tagbacks. I didn't know that. They had a good song called 10 Months. I saw them back then as well. But man, HOH was awesome. Yeah, I really dug them. I thought they were pretty fantastic. Let's go with Trevor McNevin's other band, and that is FM Static. All right. This is one of those bands that kind of snuck up on me on how much I love them. I remember being like, no, I like TFK better. I'm a TFK fan. I'm not an FM Static fan like all of, my friends who were girls. Like, they're the FM Static fans. I'm hardcore. I'm a TFK fan. It's dumb reasoning, but I remember like thinking like that. But then they just grew on me more and more. That first album is awesome. The music video for what is it? Donna? What? Yeah, what are you waiting for? Or definitely maybe. I'm not playing any music tonight because I don't want them getting like they're going to take down my entire channel if I play any music. That's my luck right now. or God's providence right now is that. So I'm just not going to. But definitely maybe. But like all of these songs, like it feels like, a Saturday night when we didn't go out and do anything, and I was just hanging out in my room and trying to like figure out how to do simple things with my guitar. Like that's it. Also, I had a Fender Strat that was exactly this blue color, and I kind of picked it based off of this album. Like I named it was Sadie. My guitar was named Sadie. I sold it. I regret it. But yeah, the FM Static was great. Even critically acclaimed. Like, yes, they, like you can see, these are the songs that I have on playlists. But they were really going for the Napoleon Dynamite vibe, like with the look here. But man, like they have some great songs. Even some of their newer stuff, like it grew out. Like I was into this song, like this album in high school. This album was okay for me, but grew on me as time went along. And then my baby sister was like, that's like the time span of some of these things. Like I think this came out, 2009, so 6 years apart, like these two albums. So my baby sister got into this one, and like, it's just a weird way that they didn't do much music because this was the side project. But honestly, I think this is the better of them. So for me, I'm going to put FM Static in A tier. Like they were just good. And there's some songs like the song Tonight. I forget which album that's off of, whether it's the critically acclaimed or the first. No, it's not on the first one. I think it's on that one. But Tonight is a great song. Love it. Love it. Love it. Audio Adrenaline has one great album. They need to be at least in C. Where did I put them? Like, I put them in D. I don't know. Yeah, I think you need more than just one great album. That's why I have like Pillar and Sanctus Real. Maybe not Pillar, but Sanctus Real I probably put on the same level as this album. But the rest of their stuff sucks, at least in my opinion. So that's why they're lower. But yeah, I don't know. Make your own. Make your own, Jer. You can put them as high as you want. Paul says, simple math suggests I'm crazy old or older. Back in the day, the great but goofy debate was about whether U2 was a Christian band. There's always stuff like that, right? Like there are so many bands that like will get one Christian person in it, and they'll be like, is this a Christian band? And I mean, like we just had that, right? Like a couple years back now with Kanye. Is he Christian or not? Is he a Christian artist or not? He did come out with an album that was pretty Christian. Maybe not the most like theologically sound album, but it definitely was Christian. U2, I probably wouldn't say they were a Christian band, but I love some U2, man. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. FM Static was fun. They came with TFK as the supporting act. Basically, they changed shirts and took their hats off to play as TFK. Yeah. I thought FM Static was the better band, to be honest. Like I thought there was like at least more heart in their lyrics. But yeah. All right, here it is. After this one, everyone can leave, because this is the two that you guys care about. Where am I going to put Relient K? Relient K is one of those bands that just everybody loved. Everybody loved. It didn't matter like what your stance about like what kind of music you'd listen to. My mom loved Relient K. My dad is hardcore. And even he would love listening to the Christmas Relient K album. Like everybody loves that album. But this was actually sitting just right over on the bookshelf for some reason. I don't know where the top went, but I love Relient K. Relient K is awesome. Now, I'm more of a I'm more of a fan of their first album and their second album. But they have, this one. Let me know in the chat if you like Relient K. What color did you get? You all know it was a thing. It was brilliant marketing. Did you get was it blue, pink, or green? Which one did you get? Of two lefts don't make a right, but three do. For me, I got blue. So I I love this band, but they I don't know, they try to do some things. Like Matt Thiessen, I think, is probably too talented. That guy, he has like that kind of I think he would say that Brian Wilson was probably like one of his greatest influences, and you can like hear it in his voice. And that's the lead singer of the Beach Boys, or one of the main voices of the Beach Boys. But he, I don't know, it felt like he was trying to be like too creative in his stuff, and then it just got from like this really cool punk vibe to just like random stuff, and you couldn't really decipher whether it was a Relient K song or not. At least for me, like, because they had a very particular sound for those first three albums, and then came, and like that album, like just shot up on all of the charts. Everybody loved that album. They went on Warped Tour. They were so popular, and then after that, it just kind of like they kind of fizzled out. They got like, what is it, like 5 score in 7 years or whatever that album was. Let's look it up. I want Apple Music. Why is it always searching there? Everything isn't working for me tonight. Yeah, like the self-titled Relient K album is probably my favorite. This one's really great too. Like I'd say these first 4 albums are like, if this was all you had of Relient K, I think it would be one of the best runs for any Christian band ever. But then like this album came, and it has, some sweet stuff in it. Like In Like a Lion, pretty great. The Thief, also pretty great. But you could just tell like there was like a restlessness of creativity here. And I think like they just kind of lost their way and became like this, like there's good songs here, like in this top row. Like there's good stuff like this. I mean, every teen, like, let me know if you were dating in like the late 2000s as a Christian, you had this song on a CD that you burnt for your boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Like, that's how it happened. Must have done something right. Oh man. Or The Best Thing. Both of those songs are probably on there. But then, you have Deathbed, which what a weird song. Like a weird melodramatic song. This is the most emo song that they have. But yeah, this album kind of lost me as far as just like the sound, because like all of a sudden like that real punky, like, I mean, even you can see it, like the lengths of songs got longer, obviously with 11 minutes there, but it's just a little bit different than what they were doing. I actually really like Devastation and Reform. I think that's probably their best song from this album. But there's some other good ones. I don't know. Forget Not Slow Down is okay. Savannah's decent, but some of these, like, it's so different. It's so different. So I don't. No. Nope. Now this one had some cool stuff, like Curl Up and Die. I think is a great song. And then there's the Fight with the Stenographer. I think, what is it? 5 Iron Frenzy's Either Dead or Dying. That was hilarious. Where is it? Am I just not seeing it? I don't know. This album is like crazy long. It was 2-sided. I remember that. I remember working at the Zoomies warehouse and walking home. And it was such a long walk that I finished the entire album by the time, like both sides, by the time I got back home. So, but yeah, like these first 4 are insanely good. So like they are going to be a S tier based off of the merit of those first 4 albums. But yeah, I think they kind of got a little bit restless, I think, as far as their sound goes. I'm not a musician, but you could just hear that it was different. That Relient K Christmas album on vinyl is great. I bet, man, on vinyl. Ooh, vinyl. I've got some vinyl. Okay, Roland says, I thought Relient K was overrated. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. Like, you either love them or you're just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I've got some friends who would say that, and I don't know. Here's the deal, guys. The reason why Heather married me is because of Relient K. All right, let's be real honest. I was at a bonfire on freshman year, and I had been trying to talk to this girl for so long because she was pretty, and she was sitting right in front of me in English class. Like, I got into school the night before classes started because, like, just chaos is how I live my life, I guess. And I live my life 1/4 mile at a time. And so, like, I got there right before classes started, skipped freshman orientation because who needs that? And like, the next morning, I go into my English class, and she's sitting in front of me with this, like, really short, like, punky kind of haircut. And this is at Bible college, right? So, like, right off the bat, I'm like, yes, please. And so, like, I'd been trying to, like, talk to her, get her to notice me, and, like, get into her friend group, like, right off the bat. And she was just not giving me the time of day. She says it wasn't on purpose, but I think it was. Until we were at a bonfire, and which I sang this song, like someone was playing on the guitar, and I sang it. And next thing you know, we're hanging out all the time. And she says it's because of that, that's how she noticed me, was singing that song. So thanks for Relient K. My kids appreciate Relient K quite a bit because they owe their existence, I guess, to them. I would have gotten her attention another way, but that's how it worked out, guys. So yes, Relient K is going to be S tier. And Cal says he had blue. And I think Jeremy said he had green. Yeah. Cool. My wife, what is this, posed the Sadie Hawkins dance once. My wife asked me to the Sadie Hawkins dance. That was our first date. What was that? Matt Thiessen and the Earthquakes did a few songs on some samplers. It was awesome. Yeah, I dug it. Yeah, they had, like, you're probably talking about My Other Band, Volume 1, in which I'm pretty sure that was the only volume that ever came out. And I was so disappointed. That album was so awesome. Like, you had Ethan Luck, who is the guy who, I mean, he's been on every band. Actually, he was on Relient K. He might still be in Relient K. I haven't really paid attention, but he was the drummer for OC Supertones. Was he in Demon Hunter? I don't know. He's in one of, like, those more hardcore bands. He's just like all over the place, just like a veteran of Christian rock music. And he had his own stuff on there, and I dug it. Like, it had a real, like, Dropkick Murphys kind of sound to it. So that, yeah, and Matt Thiessen and the Earthquakes had a few songs on that one. It was pretty great. But I wish he would have just done that instead of kind of throwing that into some of the Relient K stuff, because I really dug those first couple albums and the sound that they had. John, the lead singer from Ace Troubleshooter, became the bass player for Relient K right after they recorded. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll never forgive him for it. Like, Ace Troubleshooter fell apart because of Relient K, and that honestly, that might be enough to bring him down into A. Like, I just think, like, me and my wife got married, so it's like, what do I do about that? I'm gonna leave him at S tier. That was a hard one to get over because I love Ace Troubleshooter. True story. I had girls in my youth group, 10 years old, 10 years ago, make a music video to Deathbed. Really? You got some really dramatic kids, Jer. Like, what were you preaching on? Just like 4 weeks of talking about hell? Like, Cal, remember when Matt Thiessen dated Katy Perry? Yep. And then we all got a kick butt song out of it. My girlfriend. They say it's not about that, but I think we all know the truth. Sing the song. I'm not going to sing the song. I don't, no guitars around. Yep. Wasn't the song Poison Ivy? I don't know. Mario is here and says, I know Wolves at the Gate are not nearly, not early 2000s, but what tier would you put them in? I don't know, man. I like that. This is not going to be like a list that has everybody in it. I blanked. I even blanked on one of my favorite artists in putting him in here until like the very end. So, Wolves at the Gate. I never really listened to them, but they had a good sound, so I'd probably put them in like D or E. Like this is a very subjective list. Like this is just basically what I liked. But where do you put Casting Crowns if they count as a Christian rock band? I didn't like Casting Crowns. They actually had a pretty interesting sound on that first album. Like the one about like the American Dream, like that song. That was cool. I was all right with that. But then they just like a lot of these bands, like as soon as they kind of touched like the contemporary Christian music, like radio stuff, like you would hear, like all like Third Day, like it's worship stuff. And as soon as they touched that, it seemed like they would just like go full in. And I think part of that is the money that's attached to that. There was far more money in CCM stuff than in Christian rock stuff. So for me, like Casting Crowns, like they went like that first album was okay. Not necessarily my favorite, but it had some good songs. And then they went full into that stuff. So my mom loved Casting Crowns. Like, so like she dug it, and like people her age dug it. For me, I was just like, nah. It was one of those things that I would, not make a face when my mom put it on in the car when we were driving around. But if that's your jam, that's your jam. That's the thing about music. It's so subjective. Everybody likes what they like. You might think all the bands that I like are trash, and I might look at the stuff you listen to and go, what? So this is what it is. Cal, Ethan Luck has been releasing solo music. Yes, he was in Demon Hunter and basically every band on planet Earth. Yeah, seemed like it. He was always everywhere. But yeah, I didn't know that he was still releasing his own stuff. That's kind of cool. I just remember it from that My Other Band thing. Finally, a ranking list I'm less likely to completely differ on. Nice. Yeah. You know what? You can disagree with all my lists. It's perfectly fine. You're your own person. What? I don't know. What did I say? Put Casting Crowns straight in the trash can, yeah. Well, it's everyone's different. It's fine. Different strokes for different folks. Finally got to the hotel after first day of teacher convention. Ooh, teacher convention. That either sounds like it's a blast or it's the worst, and I don't know which one it is. Crusader says, fair enough. Fair enough. I get it. You like Casting Crowns. That's cool. Here's one that will make a lot of people upset. I didn't really like P.O.D. I know that like this was supposed to be, this was the real deal and this was the fake version, but I prefer the fake version. P.O.D. I know, like I'm supposed to love them, and Here Comes the Boom is a fun song, but I just never really got into them. So I'm going to put them in F tier, and everyone's going to be mad at me because everybody loves P.O.D. because they were one of those bands that kind of touched it as far as like, oh, they're kind of on the verge. Like, are they going to get mainstream? And then they just didn't. And yeah, so I'm not a fan. Now, Lifehouse is a different story. Oh, guys. You guys remember Lifehouse? Let me know if you watched Smallville, which was the Superman, kind of prequel series of him growing up, and it was real popular. Tom Willings. I love Superman, so I watched that show, and man, Lifehouse was in it so often, and all of their like slow music and stuff that I just dug. Like it's one of those bands that I probably should not have liked because I was like trying to be like this little punk, and it's just like I couldn't help it. I was just drawn in. So like, it's you and me, and like way too dramatic. Every song of theirs felt like you were immediately in a Seattle Starbucks in 2003 with rain dripping down the window, staring out and just wondering what's going to happen with your loved one who's in a dire crisis. like that's the vibe that Lifehouse had with every song. Um, but I dig it. I loved it so much. It's so dumb, but I just loved it. Now that's just a few of their songs. They got a lot of albums, like surprisingly. So I'm gonna leave them in that D tier. That feels about right. But yeah, they were huge on Smallville, and like they had a few other songs on some other TV shows. It was kind of like The Thing. The Thing was to get on a TV show or a movie and be in there. But yeah, so Lifehouse is going to be right around there. Smallville for the win. Everybody loves Smallville. A lot of people found Smallville during the pandemic. We rewatched it, and man, those last couple seasons are a slog. It was so good though at the beginning. I loved it. That was the thing. Again, very conservative growing up. So we would sneak the TV into me or my sister, who's just a little bit older than me. I have a lot of siblings, so there's one sister who's just a little bit older, and so we both love Smallville. So we would like sneak the TV on Friday nights or whenever it was, and watch Smallville and try to make sure that no one like came in, because we weren't probably supposed to. We knew it was like one of those unspoken things where you just don't ask for permission. Like you just do it. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So, hi guys, the sound of sirens is in the air. Will I survive downtown Red Deer, Alberta? Hard to say. Glad you're still here. Woohoo! Oh my goodness. What was going on? Red Deer was just in like the news the other day. Oh, I do know. Catholic school in Red Deer. They did some stuff. Like there's like someone put out like some kind of thing about Nazis or something like that. Oh my goodness. That's what I was reading about Red Deer the other day. Hope all the sirens go away. That P.O.D. record came out on 9/11/01. I watched the second plane hit and then 9/11. Went to the store and bought that record and the Kevin Max solo record. I know Kevin Max's aunt. That's what I know. Well, I feel like I missed one. Roland. P.O.D., which is whichever. Yeah. The Smallville soundtrack CD has some good jams on it. Oh my goodness, man. There's a playlist on Apple Music of Smallville music, and I loved a lot of like rewatching that during the beginning of the pandemic. I realized just how influential that TV show was on all of my music taste. Like I was just like listening to it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I love this song. I don't even know who the artist was, but I love that song. It's probably because I heard it on that show, and that just kept on happening over and over again. My wife got so annoyed because I'd be like, wait a second, I'm going to Google like who this is. And like every 5 seconds listening to that song. It had a lot of music. Best Christian musician in history is a guy named Johann Sebastian Bach. Ooh, you're so smart, Roland. Coming in here, be so smart. I'm like, where am I going to put Bleach? Like that's the difference between me and you. You're like up here being like, here's the height of what music can be, and I'm like Bleach a lot. S tier is not on the screen. It's cut off. Oh snap! What happened? There we go. I was trying, like, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to put it to where I could be like there. I think now I can go in between those real easy. What about not being allowed to watch Smallville? What's so bad about Smallville? Man, this is what I'm saying. Like, all right, there wasn't a lot, but at the time, things were a lot different. So, like, there's a difference of what was allowed on TV and what was risque and what was not. And then there was just, I grew up in very conservative circles, so that's just the way it was. I can't give you reasons for it. Bleach is A tier, no doubt. And this album is insanely good. I'm going to keep on saying insanely good. Andy's Doing Time. Love that song. Like Bassline. They had some hits. The We Are Tomorrow that music video where they're flipping up pencils into the ceiling. Like, oh my goodness. I watched that I don't know how many times, and they're like trying to get out of detention. It's pretty great. Uh, Seventh Day Slumber. They're going in E tier. They had one, like their first album was pretty decent, and then again, like kind of touched that CCM stuff, and then kind of had that more of a sound. But this album has some good songs, like Caroline. What is it? Make Me Believe or something like that. Like, I don't know. They have some good songs, but I wouldn't put them any higher than, these guys right here. Slick Shoes. Man. Angel is one of those songs I put on, all the playlists for girls. Friday Night. What's the one about Friday Night, school just started and I'm out with my friends or whatever. I love Slick Shoes. I'll put them in C tier. They were one of those bands that felt like the most like kind of punky, but still had like Christian lyrics and stuff. And that they were always going to be clean, but they had like that sound that was very much trying to be some of these more popular secular bands. I loved it. And they had a cool vibe. All their albums. Let's look at their albums. I remember just loving like the look of them. Yeah. Like they had this weird, 1998. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize they were that old. I thought they were right around my time. But like, I remember liking like the look of this and thinking like, oh, it looks like a hot rod. This one is just so good. Yeah. Like Angel. Where's the, this was the one I had a CD of. I Knew is one of my all-time favorites. Joe Sick. Oh man, Peace of Mind was okay. But yeah, like the Slick Shoes was awesome. So yeah, they're gonna stick right in the middle there for me. Like they didn't have a whole bunch of albums, but OC Supertones is A-list. I don't care. Come at me, bro. I loved the OC Supertones. Loved them. Like now I was obviously like Christian teenager growing up and very conservative circles. And so I wanted a lot of like that. Give me some good Jesus lyrics in a song. I wanted it so bad. And OC Supertones had all that. And then ska for me, like it was punk music and ska music. I just loved it. I'm thinking like, what is it? Never had to knock on wood, but I know someone who has. What's that band? They were everywhere in the 90s. They were in like every single movie. I'm blanking on them. I like them. OC Supertones. You got Mojo here. Let's go over here. Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. That's who it was. I don't know why I blanked on that. I love them. Man, they had some great albums. This one right here is one of my all-time favorite albums. I mean, you could go through this. Every song makes me feel a way. I mean, like I remember listening to Found and just being like, they put Doc Brown in a song. I love this band. And like all my Christian friends loved them. It was like the one band, didn't matter like who was like my parents would let me listen to it. It like they were very like you can't listen to a lot of stuff, and also they have one of the best live albums of all time. Now I'm partial because it was recorded in Seattle. So like as soon as I heard that, I think it's even on Unite and like the first ones, like the first little bit, it's like, come on, Seattle. Just the way Mojo says it is just like, yes, I love this. I love this album. So for me, it's gotta be A tier. Their music, as you get older and as you listen to more music, it's kind of boring, to be honest. But like as a kid, I was like, yes. Calibretto 13. Let me know if you even remember this band. I was so into this band for some reason. I don't know why. I think it was my friend Dan. He also really liked this band. And so we just listened to it all the time. Actually, like I don't know. I don't want to say I was in a band. Like we kind of were, kind of weren't. We tried to do a band for a little bit. And one of our only performances was the Apple song. It was the Pretenders, 1000 Miles or whatever. And then Calibretto 13's the Apple song. I really like them, but they do have some real problematic lyrics looking back. there's one song where it's just like, oh boy, like you cannot say that like anymore. So I'm going to probably just leave them in D because like, I remember it was really just that one album. Yeah. Give me a high five. Yeah. It's pretty great. I dug it, but yeah. And then they just kind of went away. Like I feel like they were popular for like 5 seconds. And Berlin is a band that everybody loves that I just never got into. Like it was supposed to be. Like you look at everything, their style, their sound, it was a band that I was supposed to love, and I just never did. So I don't really even know all that much about Anberlin, so I'm just going to leave them there. Kids in the Way. Kids in the Way is a weird band for me. They have a great cover of Living on a Prayer. Usually when you do covers of songs like that, it's just going to be garbage. Theirs is actually pretty decent. But I just really like the Apparitions of a Melody or whatever's album, so I'm just going to leave them there. That seems right. It seems right, and I'm trying to go a little bit faster. Ace Troubleshooter, S tier. S tier all day long. I don't care. I don't care what you think. S tier. Why'd it go full? I don't want it to go full. Okay, now we can do that. I want to show you. I won a drawing for Tooth and Nail back in the day, and for some reason they sent me, I don't even know, were they on Tooth and Nail? But they sent me Madness of the Crowds, and it's signed. It's somewhere in a box somewhere. Yeah, I didn't think so. It was Capitol. But they sent me this. Okay. But I love Ace Troubleshooter. I think there's a album missing here from Apple Music, but these are all great. This Make It Right. Oh my goodness. Make It Right is one of the like best intros of a song of all time. Like the guitar is insanely cool. Like I know like Skillet got big on like Fox Sports and stuff for that stuff. If Fox Sports had been like thinking outside the box, like back in 2005, Make It Right could have been like one of those songs that was like in every promo for the NFL or something. But this album is one of my all-time favorite albums. I don't think there's a bad song on this album. Don't trust that girl. She's up to no good. She'll mess with you like no one should. It's so good. Yesterday has all the nostalgia. It's not as good of a song. Okay. I'm not saying that, but it has all the nostalgia of the Beatles. Yesterday. And I feel it was very much inspired from that song. But it's like this punk version of a song like it. I loved Ace Troubleshooter. And so when their lead singer became the bassist for Relient K, I didn't know how to feel about it. It's like, because I liked Relient K, but I really loved Ace Troubleshooter. So it's hard. Like I want to do this. Ace Troubleshooter so far is my favorite of all the bands. I'm not using that to rank like everybody in this list, but I love Ace Troubleshooter so much. Ace was great. Estella was my jam. Okay. Dylan's band almost got signed to Tooth and Nail. At least that's the story he told me. Dylan, come on, man, hop in the chat. He's somewhere. He's somewhere out there in this big wide world. Fortress was a great instrumental jam. Yeah, it was. And then they even had like these little like these really soft ones. What is it? Seaside. What a cute song. Cute song. Love it. So great. They had everything. They could have been so much bigger, so much more influential, but Freaking Relient K. All right. Goatee Hook. Where's my bike? That's like all I think about. I'm gonna put them in D tier. They should have been a band that I was more like familiar with, but for some reason, like there are some of these bands that like I was allowed to listen to music as I got older. All right. So like, oh man. I think I was probably like 15 before I like actually was able to figure out how to go and find music for myself. And so I was a little like they were a little bit older. They were probably like late 90s more than 2000s. So that's probably like just age. If I was like maybe a little bit older when they were like big, I probably would have loved it. But I just never really got into them except for a few songs. Skillet. What a weird band. All right, let's talk about Skillet for a minute. All right, people know Skillet right now for Cooper and his Cooper stuff and his political, somewhat religious, like podcast thing. What a weird band. They tried everything, guys. Go look at Skillet's like I don't think it's on here, but I remember seeing like their stuff at the Christian bookstore, and like their old stuff. Like I think it got like I think I remember like looking it up and it didn't have that. Oh, it does. Okay. But like they got like really like electro music. Like this band that everyone thinks about for Skillet, like that was not how they sounded. Also, look at this. This is wow. Okay. They were not rock at the beginning. They were like this electronic stuff. And definitely not Joy Electric. Joy Electric should probably be in this list, even though they're a little bit different than some of these bands. Joy Electric would be good. Like I would probably put them at like I put Ronnie over at like either B or C tier. But yeah, I'm gonna keep them where they're at. That first album was pretty good. Like I dug it. I remember putting on my Gary Payton jersey and playing basketball in the rain, listening to I'm an enigma. Like so moody, but so was I. So like that first album spoke to me. But yeah, the rest of it for me, not very good. They're popular. They get like their songs are everywhere, especially like whatever that album was that came out in like 2000. I guess I still got them up. Like 2000, yeah, 2006 Comatose. Like they just started getting like their songs on like TV and stuff and Awake. Like they just came out with like this one particular like arena kind of rock stuff, and with Cooper's voice, which Cooper has a great voice. So like they got it all over the place, but just never was like my cup of tea. Never drank it. Never drank the Kool-Aid on them. Goatee Hook just played a show the other day out in PA, I think. Guess they are active again. What? That's nuts. Oh man. Yeah, see that's probably it. If I was your age, I think I would have been all about that band because like their sound, like looking back, is really cool. But I just like didn't really get into it for some reason. I wasn't allowed to listen to anything much, but my first tape was Michael W. Smith, The Big Picture. Is that the one where he is I'm gonna look it up. Which one is like the Michael W. Smith album where it's like the most 80s album of all time? Let's go album. This one. Is this it? Is this the one? I saw this album on vinyl in Owatonna, Minnesota at a thrift store. And I almost bought it. I was in Bible college at the time. And like I had it in my hands, but it was $3. And I was just like, I can't do this. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was like a hilarious album to like just like sit on my desk and Like just kind of like I probably wouldn't have even been allowed to like take it into my dorm, which is also one of the reasons. But I wanted to like have it because I thought it was like the funniest looking album ever, and I just didn't get it, and I regret it a lot because it would have been so funny to have that. Skillet is the most tracked band ever. They could all stop playing their instruments live and you would not notice. Oh snap. Yeah, that sounds about right. I saw Skillet when they were a little band, no name recognition in Florida in person. Were they still doing the electro stuff? I did like Skillet for a while, but yeah, they have reinvented a few times. I'm not a fan of Cooper's current political bent. Me neither. I don't like his stuff at all. Skillet started out as as basically a Nirvana clone. Their first record was the one with the Skillet on the cover. Oh, okay. Switchfoot was awesome Christian band until they I don't know. I'm not really doing that stuff. I don't know where all the bands stand on their theological issues. I'm just talking about 2000s and having fun. Skillet floating in a backyard pool. Oh man. That is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had it in my hands. I should have gotten it, but I just didn't. Oh, you do own it on vinyl. Okay. All right. Did you get it in Owatonna, Minnesota? You paid $6? Oh, see, like college me would have been like, this is double, like too much. But I'd pay $6 to have it now. Like that would have been great. Like put that in the YouTube set. If I had that, sitting back here somewhere, that'd be so fun. But it's too cheap. Dang it. All right, Jeremy Camp. I'm putting him at F tier. I really don't like Jeremy Camp. I just got to say it. I know he has a voice that was meant for rock, and he just didn't do rock. He just did like the more mainstream Christian-y stuff, and I just did not like it. So for me, he's F tier. He has a couple songs that I think are pretty decent, and he has a story. Like this isn't to say anything about who he is as a person or like his story. He's been through a lot, but I just didn't like his sound. Demon Hunter. Another band that was probably I should have been more into, just wasn't. 1000 Apologies, the song about Judas, was awesome. And based on the merit of that song alone, I'll put him in D tier. Oh my goodness, Squad 5-0. Oh, Squad 5-0 was great. I'm putting him in C tier. Man, I want to get this album. This album. I don't want to change the world. I just want to change your mind. Make you a star. Some of these songs are some of my favorites. But I gotta admit, like I didn't like all of their stuff. Let's go. Why is this being so weird? That's not them. Let's go here. Yeah. I really dug this album. But I remember trying to look up some of their older stuff and not liking it at the time. But it's been a long, long time. So this album I had a CD of, and I just listened to it all the time. So really, really enjoyed that album, but didn't really get into the rest of their stuff. So I'm going to keep them right around C tier. Wasn't there a movie about Steve Camp? Maybe. I don't know. Yes, they were electric. Don't remember a song. Oh, man. Yeah. Who's Jeremy Camp's wife? That sounds familiar, but I don't remember who it was. Jeremy Camp has an iconic name. That's true. He has a great voice, like probably one of the best voices in Christian music, but it was meant for rock, and he turned his back on rock. Pedro the Lion, not necessarily Christian anymore. At the time he was. He had some like really Christian lyrics in his stuff. I'm from Seattle, so I really like Pedro the Lion. Big Big Trucks is one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm going to put him at C tier. There are really just two albums that I really love from them. Now, Hawk Nelson. Hawk Nelson. Now that's a band. All right. Now that's a band. Hawk Nelson's up here. S tier. S tier. No, I can't put him in S tier. Oh, I want to so bad. That Letters to the President or whatever, that first album, one of my favorite albums of all time. It spoke to me. I was like the perfect age to dream about running away to California. Like just bailing on life. The music video. I love the music video. Oh man, of them being like they're in class and they're so bored and they're just like, let's move to California. Let's drop everything. We're moving to California, and like it's funny hijinks. Like they get into it, like they get into a truck with some dude. It feels like Rat Race. It feels like that. And then they get to California and there's more stuff. People are after them. And then Trevor McNevin, TFK himself, shows up to save their butts. Oh my goodness. And like me knowing like TFK and everything, it's like, it's Trevor McNevin. It's Trevor McNevin. Then I found out, guys, they went to the same church. Hawk Nelson and Trevor McNevin, 1000 Foot Krutch, they went to the same church, same youth group. And Trevor McNevin was like really like pushing them to like put their stuff out. So they helped them quite a bit, I guess. Or at least that's how the legend goes. Hawk Nelson, man, I love that first one. That first album was great. The next couple, not so much. All right. Let's look. Where's albums? Where's there? I went way past it for some reason. All right. Great album. This one right here, fantastic. I saw them in concert around this time. They were great. This album, okay, like there's some stuff in it. Bring Them Out. The one thing I have left was like I remember I got that music somehow. Head On Collision. Man, Something on My Mind. Everything You Ever Wanted. This is great. Like this stuff is good. And then this album completely lost me. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about any of these songs, man. This was one of those bands that just like was awesome to completely did not care about anything they put out ever again, because this album was so bad. So bad. And then they went like they tried to do like the more CCM stuff. I did not get into this. If you love this stuff, I'm so sorry. I hate all of this. All right. This album, all-time great. This album, pretty decent. I wish I could just base it off of that. Like I look at this picture and I want to say S tier, but I'm going to have to put them in B because the rest of their music sucked so bad, at least in my opinion. Yes. And the Hawk Nelson guy, he deconstructed. There was something that went on. I guess he really did have something on his mind. Sorry. I shouldn't make light of anything. Please say you have Further Seems Forever in S tier. I don't know. We'll see. I have that Pedro record on vinyl too. I spent too much money. Man, you've got a great collection, don't you, man? Let's hang out. I need a playlist to listen to now. Someone make one. I mean, it's right. It's just right here. You told me to make one and I thought about it and then I didn't have time. I'm lucky to be able to stream today. Like that's where I'm at. Cal says there's a great interview out there with the original lead singer of Hawk Nelson, and it's really great about how he became a Christian for real. Yeah. Okay. All right. So like they had like their, what was it? Dunlop, something like that, or Dunn, like Dunn. Is that his last name? I don't know. But he was like the original singer, and then he left, and then there was another singer, and that singer deconstructed. Right? Like that's the way it went, I think. But I don't pay attention. I don't care what they think about theology. Like I care about them as people, but it's not like, don't get your theology from singers, guys. Falling Up. Actually, I saw both of these guys at Foster Farms in Snohomish together. Falling Up opened for Hawk Nelson, and it was awesome. And I love Searchlights, but there's really only one good Falling Up album, so I'm going to put them at C tier. Okay, here's the one where everyone... Jason Dunn, that's his name. I knew there was something about Dunn. Okay. This is the one where everyone goes like, Dean, you're not nearly as cool as I thought you were. Superchick. Don't judge me. Okay. I feel like in Knives Out or Glass Onion, where he's like talking to Helen or Helena, whatever her name is. And he's like, buttress, whatever you think about me, whatever my reputation is, buttress that. Like, that's kind of what I'm going to say here with Superchick. Whatever respect you have for me, buttress it. Superchick, I'm going to put an 8. Oh, guys, I loved Superchick, like, on the down low, because I grew up with 5 sisters, okay? And, like, my sisters, like, dominated everything. There were just too many of them to fight off. So, like, I was the only boy, and until I was, like, 13. So for all the years that mattered, I was always, like, trying to be like, can we listen to my stuff? And it was just, no! Right? Judging you for Superchick. Also thinking about some of those are total bops. It's just really catchy. Okay. Oh man. I we got, I don't remember where we were, but we got a Superchick CD. Like we were at some like bookstore or something, and they had like a bunch of Christian albums that were like dirt cheap. It was seriously like 50 cents for a CD or something. And like, we just like picked it up, Heather and I, we just like picked it up and like put it in the car. Cause at the time we didn't have or I think our radio was broken. We could only listen to CDs. And so we got it and we were like putting it in there, and I realized I knew every song. And I was like, what is happening right now? I always thought Superchick was lame. And then I'm like realizing how much I dug these songs. Oh, they're so good. I can't help it. Okay. I am who I am. Flaws and all, guys. I'm showing it all for you guys. Yeah, maybe it is too high. I kind of did it for dramatic effect, but I mean, if it's not A, I'm not going to put it any lower than B. Like, that's how much I really like them. I can't even, if 2017 was sitting next to me, like, he would be like beating me. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you telling the internet that you like Superchick? But it's true. It's true. It's dope. Right? There's like some of these bands, you can't help it. You just like them. Okay. Further Seems Forever, otherwise known as Dashboard Confessional. Ah, man. Further Seems Forever. I'm putting him at A for a second while I go over here. Man, they have some hits. Light Up Ahead. Like, it's they've got some great ones. Where's Snowbirds and Townies? Yeah, okay. Why isn't that up here? What is going on? Why isn't their other album here? Like, this is them. All right, don't make me. I can go here, go to album. Right? Did they not have the album? What is going on? Show album and because it's in library still. Still doing that stupid thing. Where is it? Guys, I don't know how to use anything. I know how to do streaming. Like, just the streaming equipment. I don't know how to work anything else. Oh, man. But this album's great. And then this is one that I had too. Like Snowbirds and Townies, great. Light Up Ahead, that music video was like emotional. You know, like the last couple minutes of Saving Private Ryan, like how it's like that emotional and it's like, make it worth it. Like that's what the entire music video is for Light Up Ahead. It's all that. I remember getting so emotional watching that. And it's like stuck in my head. But yeah, hope this finds you well. Like they're great. This I don't know about S tier, man. I don't know about S tier. More of a dashboard guy. I'm gonna keep them at A. Like they're really good, and like obviously, their lead singer went on to do really big things. But I don't know. Like for me, it's just really those two albums that I really dug. So, never been exposed to any of this. I know absolutely none of these albums, bands, so I find it amazing that such a subculture exists. Learning a lot. Well, I appreciate you watching, even if you're like, I don't know any of these things. Cal says they should. Are you on your library instead of the Apple Music when you did your search? Probably. I don't know, man. Where do I even see this? Where is this? I just want to listen to music. I just want to do things. I don't know. It's too complicated for me. Oh well. It is what it is. I'm not going to listen to anything anyways because they'll be like, you're dead. Tooth and Nail. Maurice, what's up, man? One of my favorite subjects, right? Hangnail. It's only temporary. What did they have? Like I really just remember that one song off the top of my head, Temporary. But yeah. Okay, they have a few more. Like this is the album that I remember. Yeah, and Temporary. I think that was on one of the songs from Penalty Box volumes, so I think that's probably why I know that one so well. Hangnail. Oh, yeah, that seems about right. I'll put them at D tier. I like their sound. Further Seems Forever had 3 different singers on their first 3 albums. It was annoying because I would like one and then he would leave. Nice. They always had a good sound. You know who also had a good sound? And criminally underrated. All right. The Wedding. The Wedding. Let me know. Do you guys even remember The Wedding? I feel like they were an album, like they were a band that everyone immediately forgot about. And like a lot of their stuff really stuck with me. Is it this one? I probably should put like, let's go Move This City. Why is everything being so complicated? Let's go like this. The Wedding, Move This City. I always remember having such a hard time finding them on like anything. Are we loading? Are we even going to do anything? Come on, internets. Go to Wikipedia, guys. Wikipedia works. Oh, man. Actually, this is kind of cool. I didn't know that. This album includes guest vocals from Matt Thiessen on But a Breath. That's interesting. Yeah, man. This album was like my jam. I love this album so much. Morning Air, Move the City, Wake the Regiment. Oh, man. I remember driving from like a party at a friend's barn in Snohomish, and like we were being real dumb and we were taking a lot of chances. And I remember driving home to try to make it for curfew and listening to Wake the Regiment and just like going full on, just like singing our heads off, screaming at everything. Oh my goodness. That is a moment in time for me. Water Under the Bridge, Songs for the Broken. They had a couple of good songs. So I remember, all right, this album, Polarity, um, that one was like, why is this not a bigger deal? Like they should have been talked about, but they just weren't. I don't know why they didn't make it big. Like of all like the Christian bands, I think that they had like probably the best sound and the best like raw talent, but they just like didn't go anywhere. So they had like, I think like they had two songs, or oh, this is them. Yeah. Yeah, okay. This song, The Polarity. Um this is awesome. Like The Call, even like it's 48 seconds, it's just instrument and it's just cool sounding. Um let's see. Revelation is a pretty cute song. Man, they had a lot of great stuff. I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. Say Your Prayers. Oh man, that's pure nostalgia for me. I really really liked this band. And then even this, like this little EP they put out. Each one of these songs I love. Like, and then they just stopped doing stuff because I think they probably got tired of like not being big. So for me, The Wedding is A tier. I just love them. And I feel like it was also one of those bands I just, you probably knew, like there are probably different bands I don't even have on this list that you guys were like, I knew that band and no one else knew about that band and you felt really cool for knowing about that band. That was me in The Wedding. Like, and I just randomly stumbled across an album, them and Stellar Cart. Oh man, Stellar Cart. They don't belong in B tier. Like we'll deal with them in a sec. But I think I actually got their albums the same day. Like I was at some music store and I just like was like, remember when we used to go into music stores and we just like look at CDs for hours? That's what I did. And I remember finding both of them on like, I think it was the same day, or at least it was the same shop. And like I feel like I like stumbled upon gold. It was so good. Um, yeah. Let's see. I just filmed Training for Utopia, aka Demon Hunter, at Furnace Fest 2023. That's so rad. Maurice is awesome, by the way, everybody. Maurice is like rad. Everyone loved The Wedding live, but no one actually listened to them. Yeah, at least that's what it felt like. I never saw them live. I just had their album. And then when Polarity came out, I remember being super excited about that. But again, it's just like went nowhere. It felt like they were so cool, but no one cared. Dean, when you are talking Christian rock, what do you mean when you describe a song as cute? Like mostly like love songs. Like Revelation, that song that I said was cute, was like it's talking about, maybe you don't know because you don't know the song. I don't know why I say so much. Self-conscious. Okay. It is a groom talking about his wedding day, and it's just adorable. So I just mean cute isn't cute. Like it's just like a love song that I find really adorable, and it's a good song. I think probably a lot of guys like me if they could get away with it. I couldn't get away with it. Heather's family is very conservative. It wouldn't have worked. But if I could have gotten away with it, I would have had that at my wedding. A Tooth and Nail original Blenderhead, saw them in concert in 96 or something like that. What? I've been working with 90 Pound Wuss in Training for Utopia. Oh, man. 90 Pound Wuss was one I went back and forth on having him in here, but I felt like it was just like two 90s. So I just didn't put him in there. Also, I'm not like the biggest 90 Pound Wuss fan, but like they're cool. Like, and they obviously like had a huge impact as far as like the whole Christian punk leading into Christian rock stuff. Like they had a lot of influence. Brian saw. You just wanted me to like stumble over his name, huh? Someone hop into the chat or down in the comments. Remind me how to say his frickin' name. Brian Save is my favorite Christian rock artist. I mean, you could like who you want to like, but I would not consider what he puts out rock. I also wouldn't consider it folk. But That's just me. What do you think about Larry Norman? What was it? I just heard a Larry Norman song somewhere. It was like so mainstream. I think it was like in the morning show. It was like some streaming show. And it was like, I wish we'd all been ready. And it was like, why are they playing Larry Norman right now? Like, or maybe it was a movie. I don't know. It was something that was like just came out, whether it was like a streaming TV show or a movie, and I was like shocked that they were playing Larry Norman, and it wasn't in some like ironic way. They were just using the song, and I was like, "What?" Yeah, I actually like a lot of Larry Norman stuff. My mom was really big into Larry Norman, and so I listened to quite a bit of that and Keith Green. There's some real deep integration with Mars Hill Church and Tooth and Nail bands, even just the general Seattle scene. Yeah, for sure. My band did a show with 90 Pound Wuss. I know 90 Pound Wuss's lead singer's cousin was one of my friends in high school. And that's it. Like that's my connection. I preferred Suffering and the Hideous Thieves for my sad boy music. Nice. Starflyer 59 is one of my top 2 favorite bands. Patiently Waiting. Ooh, where am I going to put them? I don't know. Oh, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy. I'll just let you know. Death Cab is a great band. I love Death Cab. Oh, man. Fun fact, Mars Hill Pastor was the recording engineer on Death Cab for Cutie. Yeah. Oh, man. There's some real deep, like you said, real deep connections there. Run Kid Run. I will always love this band. I don't care how many bad albums they put out. That first album was awesome. I feel like I keep on saying that. I don't know if it's just me, like the age that I was when a lot of this music was popular or what, but I loved this first album. The rest of their music, except for like what is it? Not Be My Escape. What is it? Something about Escape. Sweet Escape? Maybe that's it. Yeah. I don't even know. Are they that popular? Will they show up here? I haven't listened to them in a while. Yeah, Love at the Core. They really tried Rescue Me, My Sweet Escape. That's what I was thinking of. They really tried to like lean more into that CCM stuff, and it didn't work. You could even see Inspirational. This one though. This album was great. I listened to this album. The first time I listened to this album, I just got it. And my mom decided to teach me a lesson. She decided she was going to, like I was taking too long to get ready for school. And so she left me. And my mom was the kindergarten teacher at like this Christian school that was, kindergarten all the way through high school. I got lots of thoughts. All right. But she left me, and I was just like, I'm not getting left. Like I had to be at school that day because I had practice for basketball. And if I wasn't there for practice, didn't matter that I was the captain of the basketball team. I would not be allowed to play in the game, like the next game. Like that was one of the rules that our coach had. And so I was like, I'm playing. Like, I think it was like we were playing against our like arch rival. And it was a big deal. And my mom was like, this is the time. I'm going to teach you a lesson. And I was like, I'm going to take that lesson and I'm going to boot it. So like I walked, if you know like the city of Everett, you'll know what I mean. When I say I walked from Casino Road over to the very edge of Mill Creek. All right. Like that's how far away my school was. And I walked that entire distance, and all because I wanted to play basketball. My mom was furious. She was just like, what are you doing here? You were supposed to stay home. Like she probably thought like I was just like just chilling at home watching like The Price is Right or something. But nope. I was listening to Run Kid Run on repeat, walking the entire way. It was probably like 10 miles. And I was just like, I'm going to school. You're not leaving me behind. Like, So that's always where my mind goes. I was so mad, and my mom was so mad. uh, oh, it's a funny memory for me. But yeah, so I really like that first album. I'm gonna keep them there at C. That feels right. Disciple. Oh man. Disciple. What was that song that I really loved from them? I wasn't like they're a little too hardcore, at least back in the day for me. I wanted the pop punk sound, guys. I wasn't very much into like the heavier stuff, but there was one song that I just really loved. I think it was off this album. Game On. Game On is a fun song. I really dug that. Yeah, I'll probably keep them at E. I know, like most people love them and they would put them way higher on this list, but it's just I was more of like that pop punky kind of sound, more pop than punk probably. But yeah. Once he said Marcel Church, I got a little scared. Why? Why? Can we do 90s, 2000s punk next? Maybe. That's the reason why early 97, mid 2000 Marcel bands were different, because the guys that played music on Sunday were in touring tooth and nail bands. Yeah. I mean, Rain City Hymnal. I've talked about this to you before, Maurice, I think. Rain City Hymnal, like that album that Marcel put out. Some of my favorite worship music of all time. Like, it's just really good. Run Kid Run was a great pop punk band. I just really I like the rest of their stuff wasn't that great for me, but that first album I just really loved. Where do you rank Relient K? It's up here. It's hidden right now behind your comment, but they're A tier or S tier for me. Like they're pretty great. How old were you when you were running to school? Oh, I think it was like 16, 17. I don't know, something like that. I didn't have a license though, so that's why I didn't even I don't know why didn't I ride my bike? I don't even know. I walked, and it was like a really angry march. But yeah. All right, got a few more here. Let's end on a high note. Classic Crime. My best friend growing up had a band, Hidden History, which they got some cool songs. They toured with, or not toured, they did some shows with Classic Crime, and I like them. Like they have some cool stuff. That first album, once again, I just keep on saying it. That first album, they have a couple songs I really love, like that. What was it? Warrior Poet or something like that. They also have one of the best songs about Seattle ever. It's just like a random song that they wrote. I don't think it's even on any album. I think you might even have to get it off of YouTube. I don't think it's actually here. But this one, Albatross. The Fight, yeah, The Coldest Heart. That's the song that everybody knows them for. But yeah, like they were pretty good. Oh no, it is here. Okay, cool. Seattle, yeah, great song. If you're from the Pacific Northwest and you haven't heard it, go listen to it. If you're from there and you're not there, it'll make you feel like you're there for a second. I don't know. There's something to it. I really dig that song. But yeah, like I wasn't like a big fan of them though, so I'll just keep. I'll actually put them at E tier. Like they have a couple songs I really like. Dead Poetic, on the other hand, has a whole album that I think is just gold. Oh man, New Medicines. What is it? It's not Brandon Ebel. That's the guy from Tooth and Nail. Brandon, why does Brandon Heath sounds wrong? Who is the lead singer? Like this guy. I used to listen to his podcast. He became a graphic designer and was like legit. I really like him. Let's go Dead Poetic. American rock band. Brandon Reich. That's who it is. This guy. If you're a graphic designer, go look up his stuff. He's done a lot of really cool stuff over the years. I really like it. But yeah, that New Medicine song, fantastic. Music video, rocked. Let's go Insiders. I had to get him in here, okay? Had to get a little bit more ska in here, and I didn't want to put everybody because some of them really sucked. Insiders, I'll put at E tier. They have a couple fun songs. KJ52, I just wanted to say his name. He's not rock, although he's probably more rock than rap, to be honest. Like his stuff, he was really going for the Eminem stuff, but it just didn't work. Although I wish I had hair like Napoleon Dynamite. That song, so good. Or Give Me That Mountain Dew. He was so weird. It was like 5 Iron Frenzy, but with like this rap rock stuff. So like just has some really odd songs, but I kind of just dug it. I'm going to put him at E tier. Cutlass. Now, I'm not talking about Cutlass, the worship band. The success of Strong Tower, I think, ruined a lot of Christian music. Like, there were bands that were so good, and then they tried to do like the CCM stuff, and some of them got hit, some of them they never actually made it, but they tried anyways, and they ruined their bands. Cutlass did that. They did Strong Tower, and everybody loved it, and it was on all the radio stations, and it got so big, and they lost themselves. Their band, like, they didn't sound the same ever again. But their first couple albums have some awesome stuff, and even like good Christian lyrics of like In Me. Like, there's just some real awesome stuff. So if it wasn't for all those like just so vanilla sounding like worship songs, which, like, if you like that kind of stuff, you like that kind of stuff, but that's not what the band was. The band was like this, I don't know, like kind of like in a way they kind of sounded like indie, like harder rock, not hardcore, but like harder. But then they just sucked. So for me, I'm going C tier. MxPx, S tier. Don't even have to think about it. Love them so much, guys. I want Mike Herrera on my show. I want it. I as soon as I hit 5,000 subs, I'm reaching out to that man and seeing if he would come and grace us with his presence. I want to dive into what it was like to be making songs like Legalistic People Suck, Legalism Makes Me Sick, and like still trying to be in the Christian world. That must have been so hard. Like, I've heard him kind of dive into that in a few interviews. I would love to pick his brain about it and just hear his experience, because I feel like I feel like that's one of the few interviews that I could do where it would actually like make a difference for people who like my channel, like, especially in like the deconstruction world and like all of that. I would really love to hear his point of view on stuff, but man, he was awesome. And they were awesome. Yeah, the Bremerton boys, they were just great, man. Like, they were huge in Seattle, obviously. Like, it felt like rooting for the hometown team. And they were great. They were fantastic. Have some great songs. Also, guys, go and look them up. They've been doing like tons of stuff. Mike has been doing all kinds of things on YouTube and like trying to, do things since the pandemic to be creative. And man, has he been. And they've been actually putting out some pretty solid stuff. So look them up. It's not just, teenage politics and the way of the buffalo. It's a lot. Like, they're great. Like, I can't name a bad MxPx album. I really can't. Like not every song is like filled, or not every album is filled with all kinds of hits, but there's something there that I always find redeemable. MxPx, one of my favorite bands of all time, and definitely my favorite of everything here. Love them a lot. I bet, he seems that way, and he does a lot of YouTube stuff. I'm just waiting. I don't know why. Like, I kind of put this as a goal for myself. I had this realization. It's like, if I was charismatic, I would call it a prophetic dream. Like, I was like in bed, and I was just like, oh man, we're almost at 5,000 subs. It's so cool. I should do something to celebrate. And then I was like, what could I do? Well, I could probably reach out to a few people and see if maybe one of them would like to come on the show. And then immediately I was like, what if I had Mr. MxPx man himself come on the show? Wouldn't that be insanely cool? It would be an all-time bucket list thing. I would love to pick his brain, although I would be really nervous and I'd fangirl out hard. All right, I am one of those people. If I fangirl, I'm gonna fangirl real hard. Like I met Gordon Hayward at the Mall of America. He was just riding rides. It was his rookie year, and I ran into him, and I literally, like, I had some buddies with me, and they were like, "I've never seen you like that, Dean." Like, what the heck was that? Because I was just like, "It's Gordon. Don't look. It's Gordon." Like, I loved him as a college player. So I was like, it's Gordon Hayward over there. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. The Timberwolves are playing the Utah Jazz tonight. It is him. And like, I got my picture with him, but like, I just went complete fan in that moment. And that's probably what I do with him. Mute Math. Let's do that, and then we'll hop into the chat and we'll call it a night. Mute Math has this one good album. I know Mute Math was a weird one because they had like the secular stuff going. Like I think they had like Rolling Stones do something about them. I remember that being a big thing. Like, this is the next band to watch because like Christian bands were like taking off like crazy. But I just did not like anything that they did outside of the CP. Not for me. Now Starflyer. I'm going to put him here for a second. Why did that happen? Let's go here. Let's just look at some albums. What? They're still going. Like, this is the last album that I remember. All right. This is the one that people go to. No New Kind of Story, obviously. I don't know. Like, one thing I will say for Jesse is like they did not do a good job. Like, it's supposed to be like that indented thing. This says no new kind of story in it, but you can like barely make it out for the tooth and nail stuff. But like, I know, super influential. This song rocks. I just never was that much into this band. I feel like they were just a little bit before my time because I started, I was like, how old was I here? I was 15 in 2004. I probably should have been into it, but I wasn't. So I'm not going to lie. It's really just that album. So I like, for me, this is just like my personal, like what I like. So I like their sound and everything, but I'm going to put them in C tier. Oh man. I'm sorry, Cal. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, but it's probably what happened. Have you heard Joy Electric? The singer is brothers with the singer Starflyer 59. Yep. Ronnie Martin. I know the Martin boys. But yeah, Joy Electric. I really dug him. I don't know why I didn't have him on here other than I just forgot. Yes. I think yes. Yeah, because he did the documentary and Jordan did the book, right? That's how it worked. Because I remember like I talked to like Jesse on his Instagram about it. But yeah. Can someone legalistically complain about legalism? A lot of people, I think, are legalism complain. I think our legalists complain about legalism for sure. It definitely happens. But Slowly Going the Way of the Buffalo is my top tier MxPx record. That would be, man, maybe I should just do that, like ranking MxPx albums. That would be hard for me. What is this? This isn't all their stuff. Why is this? Okay, whatever. Can I cheat and go 10 years running? I'd probably still go Teenage Politics. It's got Punk Rock Show. It's got like where is it? I'm the Bad Guy. That song just spoke to me as a kid growing up with very conservative background. Yeah, I would probably say Teenage Politics would be like my top. But I do like the Ever Passing Moment. Responsibility, my life story. Oh, dang. See, this is where it gets like without you. Let me see. I'm okay. Oh, that's like way too difficult, man. I can't do this. Yeah. Yeah. Ronnie Martin is a pastor and writes some stuff for Gospel Coalition. I love what he's been doing. It's been very interesting to see that transition. Like just from afar, like not like I know him or anything. Although he follows me on Twitter now. That was pretty cool. See, but even like Panic was awesome when it came out. Like, guys, I never got to see MxPx live. All right. But they signed some stuff for me because I wasn't allowed. I forget who the band was that opened for them, but all my friends went and I wasn't allowed to go. And it was like a real fight. Uh, like I was so mad, so disappointed. I bought tickets and everything, and then I wasn't allowed to go because whoever they had opening for them, somehow my parents found out and they were not happy. And so all my friends went and they got me some merch, and I have like a signed shirt from all three of them. But yeah, that's my life. And then I moved too far away, and they like maybe they'll come up. Maybe they'll come up and do a show in Saskatoon. I don't know. Isn't it great how music is subjective and our tastes are all different and get really solidified when we are so young? That is the shocking thing for me. Finding out that, it is very much like that 2008. Like that's probably like 2006 to 2008 is like the peak of music for me. Most of the stuff I really resonate with are from that time period. It's just, that was a long time ago, I saw MxPx with opening act Slick Shoes and Good Charlotte. Oh my goodness. I hate you, Cal. I don't usually say that, but I kind of do now. I'm so jelly. They're playing in Seattle on December 30th in Seattle. Come. Yep. I'll just buy the ticket and I can't. I live too far away now. Okay. Did any of you guys like this? This was fun for me, at least, to kind of go through and just have some fun talking about some of the music that I like. But I know a lot of you guys are probably just like, I don't listen to this music. I don't care about this music. Or you're just like, why are you picking those bands over those bands? But it is what it is. Music is subjective, just like a lot of things. And I don't know. I had fun doing it. I don't know. I like doing like these tier lists, and this one just kind of spoke to me this week, so decided to do that. It's just kind of fun to have like a fun stream that isn't just Q&A, because when it's Q&A, I feel like people are trying to stump me sometimes. Like I'm not the smartest guy. And I feel like some people are just like, let me ask the hard question. And most of the time, I'm just trying to get something out for you guys to enjoy watching, like, so sometimes I don't have all the energy for it, like all the different questions. And it's kind of fun to do like a tier list or something like that to kind of just have like something to talk about and give you guys some opportunities to interact with one another. Cause I know some of you guys just wait for, is there a chill stream? And like, you don't even like, you're not going to talk to me even that much, but you'll talk to each other because we have community here. Like we have real community on this channel. All right. Oh, music related. A buddy bought me a ticket to see U2 in the Sphere in Vegas. Dude, aren't those tickets like insane? Man, he must really like you. I saw MxPx at an underground parking lot on the campus of Trinity Western. The roof was like 7 feet tall. Oh my goodness. I go in December. Nice. 90s next. We'll see. That would probably be just a lot of, I don't know who this is. I don't know what this is. But how's your boys? Doing okay. Like I appreciate everyone who's been praying. Like we're dealing with some stuff still. Diabetes and autism with one individual is a lot. And so like for like as soon as we get like one that we're like, okay, we know where, how one aspect of, some of the struggles that he has, like how to deal with them, then it's the other thing. So like for a while, we're like trying to really get diabetes in hand, and now it feels like, at least with school, we're dealing with some stuff. So be in prayer for us. Trying to figure out some things. He's having a difficult time, but he's happy. He's healthy. So we're thankful for that. You should do movies next. Yeah, I could do like tears. I had the thought. Let me know if you guys like this idea. I tried, like, maybe Heather and I will do this at some point. I tried to be like, what do you think about this? And she seemed at least interested, of looking at Christian movie covers or posters, whatever, like covers of movies, because everything is streaming now. So it's not really like a cover of a DVD or something, but it's just like a picture of the movie, and trying to guess the plot for Christian movies. I think that would be kind of fun. And Heather might do it. She thought that it was at least funny. So we might do it. I think I remember that Dylan, but I didn't go. So weird. We never saw each other that whole time. We knew nothing about all of this, didn't have a lot of educated input, but it was fun to listen in. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. That means a lot to me that you guys will put up with me for that long, even though you're just like, I don't know any of these bands. Yeah. It's, and it's something we're just always going to be like wrestling with, and trying to make sure that, he's okay, and that, he's happy, and that he's learning, and that he's growing, and he's doing everything he needs to do as a person to exist in this world that sometimes really doesn't make sense for us or for him. So just dealing with that kind of stuff. All right. So it is funny. All right. You guys like that idea of doing just like basing it off of that? Whatever you have to do to not actually watch those movies. Pretty much. I don't want to, like, I was thinking like I could rank Christian movies, and it's like, what? I've watched like 6 of them. Like, I don't watch those. So, all right. I'm going to go. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I hope we had a good time. I hope it was worth your while. I hope that all your dreams come true. See you in the next one.